Hello, everybody, all our followers on ESCplus International. This is Denis, and I'm here with Niklas, and he is from Lord of the Lost, representing Germany this year in the Eurovision Song Contest. Um, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. That might be better.
All right. So, hi, Nick. I'm the drummer of Lord of the Lost, and we are representing Germany, as you already heard. And yeah, we're really looking forward to this because it's a huge adventure.
Great to hear that you're looking forward to it because there is a lot coming your way, probably.
Awesome.
So being an enthusiast about all those things is probably the best thing you can do. Um, yeah. So you won with the band Lord of the Lost, the German national selection. Do you remember what was the first thing that went through your head when you were announced as the winners?
No.
No.
I really have no clue. I can barely remember that moment. When I when I see the videos and the pictures of this moment when yeah we were announced as the winner, I remember that I fell down on my knees and I I had a blackout. I don't
Mhm.
know, but I the only thing I remember is I think I felt quite every emotion except of pain and hate. But
Okay.
everything was there in that moment.
Because I'm always wondering, like, somebody or a band is announced as winners, and then you have to perform again because everybody wants to hear the song
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
and you're just standing there. How do you like cope with all the feelings? Because you were just announced, and then you have to go back on stage, and everything goes really fast, probably.
That's a good question. I remember that of course, we were standing there and we tried to recognize this, what was happening there in that moment. And then, of course, we were told, "Hey, guys, come on stage," and we were like, "Oh, well, yeah, oh, this is the way. Yeah, right. Or okay, yeah, of course. We rehearsed it several times, but shit. All right, yeah, let's go there." And we were standing on that stage, and the stage was set up with our stuff. And I remember when I climbed up behind my drum set, I was sitting there like this, pretty shaky, and okay, shit, you've won this. And yeah, then I already heard the click on my ear, so I knew when I had to start my drums, and then I was just playing. And I think that's that's our usual business. That's the best
Hmm.
thing to do. And if you're if you're going on a stage, no matter how nervous you are before, if you're sitting on stage behind your instrument with the very first tone, with the very first hit, everything is gone and you're totally free. So yeah, that was quite the situation back then.
And then like afterwards, after you go off the stage and the show is over, and then like all the band members just look at each other and be like, okay, we're going to Eurovision. What is going
Yeah,
on?
yeah, and you're pretty, yeah, immediately you're getting caught by all the journalists because
Mhm.
immediately after the show ended, we had to do a press conference on that stage, and there were I don't know how many journalists asking things and doing pictures, but right before we took ourselves 10 minutes because our singer had to go behind the stage and call his son just to yeah to speak to him in this
Mhm.
special moment. And yeah, it was it's hard to recognize in that moment because everything is working so fast in that moment.
Mhm.
And yeah, then you're standing there and it's like you can think about it like a New Year's Eve. You're preparing everything for days or weeks or even longer, depends on you. But you're preparing it, and then the moment is there, and the evening is there, and all of a sudden it's the new year, and then there's a
Mhm.
big firework, and then it's over, and
Mhm.
everything is getting silent, and you're just there standing like, all right, that's it. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah. And then the Eurovision year just starts all of a sudden.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
craziness. Yeah.
The a few days after the preliminary shows, it was pretty calm and not that much interview stuff and so on. But in the past, 1.5 weeks, it's going up like this. And right now we're doing this interview stuff every day, several times, and now some press stuff, interview for print press and also for TV talk shows. Everything it's coming up now, and it's getting more and more and more.
Great to hear. Well, the thing, and it might sound strange to you, but I'm sure somebody already has asked you a question. You guys look so tough, you know, like Lord of the Lost. I mean, like already the name, and then like the appearance, and you know all the things that I read about the bands, and then all of a sudden this band goes to Eurovision. We already, of course, had like some tough bands. We had Iceland like a couple of years ago that came with like a special actor was Lordi, of course. How does a band like Lord of the Lost feel to go to something like as sparkly and colorful as like the Eurovision Song Contest?
Well, if you say sparkly and colorful, I mean, that's exactly what we are right now.
Yeah, true. I forgot about that.
I mean, even if this colorful and sparkling artwork stuff and look is right now, of course, with our album and everything, we always have been a band that was super diverse in dressing and especially in the music, and we've always been colorful in any way. So the past few years, Germany was not very lucky in the ESC. And possibly now it's the time with some rock and roll. I don't know.
Because how does Lord of the Lost identify itself as a band? Because I read like articles that said that you're like industrial metal bands, there's glam rock. What do you think like Lord of the Lost is, if it is one thing?
I think we are just a band. We are a rock, of course, but we are very diverse in our style. So if you just give one or two songs of the past 10 studio albums, if you give it a listen, you will recognize that every single album sounds completely different from the album before. And so this band is always coming up with something completely new, and pretty often with something that no one ever expected before. And so it's pretty hard to describe it. I think we are quite authentic because we only do what we like. And it's not that we only like being a goth band or we like wearing black clothes or whatever. This time it was like we want to do this glam thing. We want to look out of the 80s and out of the 70s maybe, and the sound of the new album is more from the 80s, but also with modern sounds, with our sounds. And so it's hard to put us just in one box. It's hard to describe. So I think everyone has to discover us and maybe to experience us live, because I think the live shows are pretty energetic and everything. And it's hard to describe.
So like that hard to describe kind of glam rock, rockish thing, is there already like a plan how you're going to convey that on stage in Liverpool?
Well, of course, we had our show in Cologne for the preliminary show, and we will keep it pretty much like this. But of course, we have to scale it up. Stage at the ESC final in Liverpool is much bigger than the one in was, and of course, we're adding some new effects and some specials. But I can't talk about that.
No, no, no. I can't imagine. I gave it a try, like maybe, like, yeah, talking about the grand final. Of course, Germany is one of the big five countries, so that means that you're going to perform in the grand final. We do get to see, I think, snippets of the song, like in the two semifinals. Do you think it's an advantage or a disadvantage that you are, well, for the biggest part of the audience, you're on stage once? Do you think that is an advantage or a disadvantage?
Oh, ooh, I don't know. Question. No, I think it's a good thing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but maybe for the band, maybe it's so exciting that you're like, oh, I want to do it again, and then it's just one time. maybe
Well, yeah.
maybe that's the disadvantage of the whole thing. It's might not be in the favor of the enjoyment of the band on itself. Maybe that would be like the
Maybe, but I don't know. We are quite we pretty often just let the things come,
Mhm.
so we're just excited to do it, and the rest will be just a surprise to us, or it won't be. Let's see. Because if you have no special expectations,
Mhm.
you can't be disappointed in the end,
It's true. It's true. Like always go in like with an open view. I think that's the best
Exactly.
thing.
Yes.
Talking about open view and advantages and disadvantages, did you get like a chance to listen to the competition this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I gave every single artist a listen, and I don't remember all the songs. I just
Mhm.
gave one listen. Expect of two songs. I have two really big favorites. It's Voyager with Promise from
Mhm.
Australia, and the other thing is Alessandra for Norway.
Mhm.
I really like these performances and these songs, and I'm
Okay,
really looking
good.
to see it live on a stage.
Do you happen to remember Spain? Because ESC
Yes,
Plus has
yeah, yes, I
its
do.
roots in Spain, so yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, but I think um it was not my cup of tea,
Mhm.
to be honest. Um, but it was this how was it sounding? It was not for me. It wasn't a pretty. Is it a kind of traditional
Yeah, it
sound?
is like a mix. I feel it's like traditional kind of Spanish music mixed with like some artistic
Yeah,
sounds and experimental and yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's different. It's out there. Yeah.
Experimental is quite the best thing to describe
Mhm.
it. I think. It's not a bad song, of course. It's
Mhm.
definitely not. But yeah, it's not my thing.
Mhm.
But I really like the video. It's this video with it's a lot of orange what is
Mhm.
it, curtains, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
True. 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 Did you get a chance to listen to the Netherlands, your neighboring country, and the country that I'm from?
Which metal bands you mean?
No, no, no. No, no, no. I mean, like, did you get a chance to have a listen to the song of the Netherlands, or you
Ah,
might not rem
I just
you
under
understood metal bands? Yeah, I kind of grasped it. Yeah,
no, unfortunately not. I don't remember that. I'm not sure yet.
that's not a good thing, right? For us, for us. You're already in the final. We still have to work through those
But
semifinals.
I already told you that I have two
Yeah,
big favorites. So
yeah, yeah. It's true. No.
the rest is and what I definitely remember is of course Croatia
Mm-hmm.
is quite.
Out there. Yeah.
I have no clue what's happening there.
A lot is going on there. A lot.
Yeah, of course I don't understand the word, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of but what?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of different music things going on, and there are like bombs, and there are like cannons. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah.
Um, do you happen to know, not maybe of this year, but of your bands, do they have any favorites in the contest, like from previous years? That your guys were like, okay, this might be an inspiration for us, maybe.
Ooh, and of course we remember a lot from the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much it's an inspiration for us.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the three biggest things are, of course, Lordi,
Mm-hmm.
but also the German act from, when was it, 2008 or 11, Lena,
Oh
with
yeah.
and definitely, of course, in the old days back then, ABBA.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, I mean, ABBA is already some kind of glammy in
Yeah,
looking.
yeah. And
So
legendary. So yeah.
that, but especially for, I mean, we did not create this whole
Mm-hmm.
look for Eurovision.
Mm-hmm.
It's the look of our album we just
Mm-hmm.
brought out in the end of the last year, and we got inspired for this by Mick Rock, who was
Mm-hmm.
a great photographer back in the 70s, 80s, who took photos of all the big stars from back then. And there's a huge book, um, like this, with shitloads of photographies from him, and he did photos of Queen and Bowie and all those guys. And yeah, there's a lot of glam in it, and that was the thing which inspired us the most for the
Mm-hmm.
recent album. And yeah, that's why we're now looking what we are looking
Mm-hmm.
on stage.
By the way, like a second ago, you said the album, which came out like last year, Blood and Glitter. It's also the name of the song you're going to perform in the Eurovision Song Contest. What is the song about?
Well, it's about blood and glitter, and yeah, there are so many peeps out there who are coming up with, oh my God, you're singing about blood and in times of war in Ukraine, and guys, only because there's blood in the name and in the lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about war or splatter movies or whatever. Um, because blood is that thing that every one of us is carrying with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's in all of us, and the glitter is also in all of us. The glitter is that what's shining around you, and everyone, every single human has some kind of glitter. It's that what's shining around you, what the other people see of you. And blood and glitter is mainly about, you have just one life, and you have to live a good life, not a good life for the other ones. It has to be a
Mm-hmm.
good life for you. So do the best for your life. And the main thing is that you are lucky, and try not to harm anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Okay. Positive message. Always
absolutely.
good, especially in these times, you know. It's good to also have that explanation.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think it's fitting perfectly to this year's theme of Eurovision, because it's united by music.
mhm,
And united is that thing. We are all
mhm.
united by blood and glitter somehow.
Okay, cool, cool, great. Um, Imagine like after the when you know like the whole voting sequence is done, you're sitting there with the bands. Imagine that you did really well, or maybe even win the contest. Um, what would that mean to Lord of the Lost?
Wow. I have I have
Already
no.
looking like forward, like into the future.
Yeah, yeah. Only we never try. That's what I already said before. We are trying to never expect the very
Mhm,
best. Of course, if you're trying to, or if you're expecting the very best, which is not always happening, uh,
mhm,
may be disappointed in the end. So I hope that we're somewhere in the middle in the end, and the higher we are, of course, the better it is for us. But I have no clue what will happen if you win this thing. No.
Just no.
I can't imagine. Also because we already have a super packed year. Because that was one thing when we applied for the Eurovision. We were like, okay, hey, if we are going to the preliminary shows, and if we're gonna make that, what if we are not going to win this, and if we are not going to Liverpool, what's then? And we were like, well, if we're not going to Liverpool, we will go to UK just a few weeks later, because then we're starting our tour with Iron Maiden. And and we are right in the festival season, and we have loads of festivals this year. I think we have more than 50 shows coming up this year still, around the planet, literally, because before Eurovision, we are still going to South America. We're doing Mexico, Argentina, Chile, and Brazil. Then we're flying back just one day home to grab new clothes, fresh clothes, and we're when we are coming back from Liverpool on, I think it's May 14th or May 15th, which will be hilarious because May 14th will be my birthday. So we're going to have a party after Eurovision show. Know what happens. When we are coming back, we are just at home for 10 days, I think, because on May 25th, we are already going into festival season, and then we are going around Europe and everywhere. So I really have no clue what could happen after winning the ESC, and I don't want to think about it to win this thing. But of course, you can see it with the artists from the years before. Best example is Måneskin. I mean, I've never heard of these guys before, and then they came up, they won this thing, and now touring the fucking planet, and they are going to the States and filling there, I don't know how many of thousands of people on their shows. So it, of course, definitely can push you a lot.
And I think this is the best preparation of all the contestants that I've interviewed up to now. You stay like, okay, I'm doing the Eurovision Song Contest, but if it goes sideways, I'm touring with Iron Maiden. So it's like, you know.
It's pretty yeah, I know.
So that is covered. So I don't need to worry about this band, you know, like you got yourself covered. That's good.
Not that if we are going to make the very last place in this thing, we are not falling into a deep hole or something like that. We just have no time out.
Yeah, and you have each other to lean on, you know, you're not there as a solo artist. So yeah, that's also a good thing. One last question. Up to now, what did you learn from the whole Eurovision road to Liverpool in this case?
What did I learn? I didn't know that the Eurovision is, of course, everyone is knowing the Eurovision, and I know it for my whole life. I remember in childhood, it was a huge happening when Eurovision took place, and the whole family came together, sitting on sofa and watching TV all together. It was one of these very, back then, rare and special evenings where it was a huge happening. There were not many shows or stuff like that in this size of an event. So it was just happening every year. Now where we could dive into this bubble, and I think it is kind of a Eurovision bubble, and it's a huge one. Never no one of us expected this ever. we did not know how big this ESC community is, and how the whole network there is, and it's a huge one. It's working everything. So that's really insane, and I'm super glad that we could make this experience until this point, and I'm really we are really looking forward to all the Liverpool stuff and so on. But that was the thing I learned. It was less learning, but more to be what is it in English? I don't get the word right now. To know that we are doing the right thing as humans, because we are always pretty open to everyone. And also in the preliminary thing in Germany, it was like all the artists, all the others, it was just a huge family. And if you're open to everyone, you can join this kind of family. So we already had there a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to Liverpool, because of course I hope that the other artists are also quite open-minded to other artists and other. And I already have some contacts to others, what we are social media, and I think that will really be a huge adventure and a great time, definitely.
Yeah, because the thing that I always heard, well, from my time at Eurovision, is that all the artists, they get together, have their own parties. Sometimes they are in the same hotel, so that sounds like a lot of fun. It's like, like a big party behind the scenes as well. So that's a good thing. Yeah, is there anything, because I wrote down a lot of questions, but they are like also answered along the way of this conversation. Is there anything you think we missed during this interview, or that you really want to mention?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. No,
Well,
think no.
Well, you get another chance when we meet each other in Amsterdam, because you're also going to Amsterdam, right? To Eurovision concert.
Yeah, that's right. We're there, and I think a lot of artists are going to be there.
Up to now, 23, I believe, to be there. So, yeah.
I think there will be quite a few more. That will be definitely being super interesting to hopefully already meet some of them. And it's this first time before it's over to
the real thing.
Yeah,
and Alessandra from Norway is going to be there, and Australia from Voyager is going to be there. So you'll be fine. You'll meet all your celebrities. So
that's great. That's great. Then we'll definitely have a great time. Yes, I'm really looking forward to that.
Great to hear. Then the thing that I'm going to do is wish you the best of luck in the upcoming weeks. Also for the whole band, of course. We're going to see each other in Eurovision in concert, which will be next month in April. And yeah, like the best of luck. There's nothing more I can say. And great, thank you. Thank you for this interview.
Yes, you're all welcome, and thanks for having me.